Thank you, and good morning, everyone, especially our very important guests. Yeah, it's always exciting and quite nervous talking after such brilliant politicians. It's quite clear that they have the beauty of speaking beautifully. But I have prepared a very short presentation to you that really talk about health innovation and just show how diagnostic, testing, and tracing on the age of DNA and big data can be very effective to try to slow down our pandemic in Africa. So KRISP, what it is a research center that's funded by the Department of Science Innovation, also by Diplomics with a South African Roadmap Initiative, the Technology Innovation Agency, and the Medical Research Council, which is in I believe our minister already highlighted that was the importance how the academics organizations, they came together with the government to support the testing in South Africa. That was very exciting because this really motivates a lot of young researchers to stop the research and to devote the time to help to get much better testing for our national laboratory health system. And here in KwaZulu-Natal, and we start providing thousands of extra tests a day with very short turnaround time. The same in the Western Cape between CPGR and different departments in UCT, and the same in Gauteng. And what's exciting about this initiative, is that many other labs will be joining, but also that all the academics are doing that basic at cost price. That's really reducing the access to diagnostic of the price and the amount to the National Department of Health. And what is also very good that is the way that have been done, funded both by the MRC and the Solidarity Funding. So if you move to another quick activity that we do, and we do that in collaboration with many other groups in Africa, is to use DNA sequencing to try to map the viral diversity of the virus in Africa. So what we can see here in the left, and I'm not gonna get into many details, it's what we call a phylogenetic tree that highlight like all the origin of the virus and where it was introduced in Africa. Not surprising, the majority of the introductions come from European strains, but we also got introductions from Asia and Oceania. Why this kind of data is important? The main reason why that's important is by tracking the evolution of the virus, you can identify not only the source of origins and how outbreaks are caused, but also mutations that can be associated with high infectivity or very important to development of vaccine therapy and diagnostics. So this virus continuously evolving. It evolves around 2 mutations per month. And South Africa has released now half of the African genomic data, which is publicly available, over 500 genomes, that become very important to make sure that our diagnostics is effective, but as vaccines and therapies are developed, that we have the genetic base to understand how that works. We do that in collaboration with large science diplomacy. For example, we sit on what the WHO called the Working Group 3 of SARS-CoV-2 virus evolution. It's a number, it's around 20 experts around the world from all regions of the world that keep tracing the virus and see the effective of diagnostics and therapies. We just finished a handbook from SARS-CoV-2 DNA sequencing that's capacitating a lot of labs in the world, and we continuously engaging in different WHO forums. Another exciting activity that we did is with Professor John Nkankson, the director of the Africa CDC, that we joined together a group of experts to accelerate genomic-based surveillance in Africa. And we do that as part of not only capacitating lab, but now we are training hundreds of scientists on analyzing the data on weekly webinars that's organized by the African CDC. In South Africa, we form what we call the Network for Genomic Surveillance in South Africa, with Kanye Msomi, colleague Miss Mana, Caroline Williamson. And so this is a group of 10 different labs and universities that came together to use genomics to really respond to the outbreak, not just as an academic exercise. And at the moment, we are developing the same proposal with all the 5 BRICS countries, and South Africa may lead that proposal. So let me explain to you why that's very important. So here I just have a picture of what it was, a very big hospital outbreak in Durban, and what we did is to get involved there on the 2nd of April, and we took a whole team of clinical researchers, laboratory people with quick diagnostic and sequence to try to understand and control this outbreak. Why it is important to control hospital outbreaks very quick? In the case, because people is sick at the hospitals, and if you get in wards of very sick people, you have a very high case fatality rate. In the case of this hospital, up to 50% in a dialysis unit. But this outbreak was controlled very quick with very few people dying, and was highlighted as a report that was used by 120 countries to prevent hospital infections. At the moment, we are doing another outbreak controlling that was another hospital in KwaZulu-Natal that we had a large outbreak in a theater complex that we managed to control, but a new outbreak happened in healthcare workers. And that's also being controlled, and it's so important to control that very quick because it's very sensitive, because people go to hospitals to get treated, and it's very important that we use the highest technology in the quickest way to control these outbreaks. So just to finalize, one thing that we do at KRISP, and many of you may have seen our data with our health minister presenting that, is to trace with big data the trajectory of the epidemic in South Africa and Africa. So that's some of the early results. Now what we are seeing is this is starting to level up of the epidemic. What's quite exciting because the first time since we opened level 3 lockdown that we have a R below 1. But what it means that is no time for complacency, because the South African epidemic has starting similarities between the United States, which is going from state to state, or in the case of South Africa, province to province. And we have to be very careful to try to keep controlling, otherwise we may be in the same process at the US that seems to decrease, but then to come with a different surge. So it's very important that we use quick diagnostics and control this outbreak as soon as possible. As part of that, we are putting a big proposal together with a number of departments, and the Dub Trade Port, which is the objective using Chinese know-how on how to construct labs very quick. So labs that can be constructed in a week or 2 inside a warehouse that can do very large tests and also genomic sequence to control outbreaks. And we are positioning this lab inside the Dub Trade Port, which is going to be very important also from import of samples to help other African countries, but also to start manufacturing some of the reagents there. So that's what I have to tell you. And I could not help in a political meeting to just end up with a very famous say in Portuguese. Thank you.